You are listening to Lesson 3, Chapter 2 of Form 5 History. Cameroon General Education. Narrated by Wacheseh Academy. International Relations and Organizations Cameroon and the rest of the world since 1970. Ahidjo's Foreign Policy. Ahidjo established cordial relations with the Western industrialized countries. This enables Cameroon to get cheap loans, etc. Ahidjo opened normal rations with China in the 1970s. The Chinese financed and constructed the Lagdo Dam, the conference hall in Yaoundé, etc. Ahidjo broke diplomatic relations with Israel in 1973 and won the friendship of many Arab countries when he refused to withdraw from Egyptian territories. Ahidjo handled the Cameroon-Nigeria borders dispute peacefully and saved Cameroon from Nigeria's military invasion after the May 1981 border clashes. Under Ahidjo, Cameroon played an active role in many regional and international organizations such as the OAU. The rebirth of multi-party politics in Cameroon. Internal factors. The one-party system provoked tribalism and nepotism. The one-party system led to the over-centralization of power. The one-party system led to widespread human rights violations because of no strong political force to resist government actions. The one-party system was accompanied by the list system. The level of education and political awareness increased tremendously towards the 1990s. This increased agitation towards multi-party politics. The return of many elites from the Western democratic countries also accelerated the clamor for multi-party democracy. The mass media had been liberalized by 1990. The pressure that came from churches, especially the Episcopal Conference in Cameroon, etc., strongly influenced Biya, a Catholic, to accept a more democratic society to maintain a cordial relationship with his Catholic bishops. The Bar Association mounted pressure on the government to open the gates of multi-party politics. The deplorable economic situation, such as high unemployment, decrease in export earnings, capital flight, misappropriation of state funds, etc., led to pressure for multi-party politics to unseat the CPDM. External. The liberalization of the Soviet Union. Pressure from international financial organizations like the IMF and World Bank emphasizing the need for democratic reforms as preconditions to obtain loans influenced the government to embrace multi-party. France under François Mitterrand at the Franco-African Summit at Les Bals, France, in June 1990, and at Chalet, France in November 1991 mounted pressure especially to French-speaking African countries to practice plural democracy. Cameroon's political appetite to join the Commonwealth also influenced the government to democratize the country, in order to fulfill the Harare Declaration of 1991 and gain admission into the Commonwealth. The multi-party democratic process 1990 to 2008. The laws of December 1990 reintroduced multi-party in Cameroon. In October 1991, a tripartite conference was organized bringing together the CPDM, opposition parties, and members of civil society. It came out with important decisions such as liberalization of the press, the release of political detainees, etc. In March 1992, the Ministry of Territorial Administration organized and conducted the first multi-party parliamentary elections. Biya invited MDR to join in a coalition government and later the UPC of Kodok. In October 1992, presidential elections produced the following results: Paul Biya of CPDM won 39.9%, Frundi of SDF 35.9%, Bello Buba Maigari 20%, Ndamjoya of CDC 3.6%, and the rest shared by Jean Jacques of NP and Emma Atu of RFP. In the May legislative elections, the following CPDM won 116 seats, SDF 43, the UNDP 13, the CDU 5, the UPC of Kodok 1, MIJC of Yondo 1. The National Elections Observatory organized and conducted elections under the supervision of the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Reasons for the prolonged domination of the CPDM in Cameroon politics 1985 to 2008. No independent electoral commission. The CPDM appointed officials in the Ministry of Territorial Administration were responsible for the organization and conduct of elections. The ruling party enjoyed the support of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court acknowledged but tolerated most of the irregularities, tabled by the opposition leaders such as the presidential elections of October 1992. The CPDM enjoyed the support of the state media. The national radio and television station provided more airtime to the CPDM than opposition parties. The CPDM enjoyed the financial and material support of the state. The government treasury, state corporations, and many private enterprises provided financial and material support to the CPDM, which made the party economically stronger to convince most of the miserable people in rural areas. The fear of government victimization. Most civil servants were forced to campaign for the ruling party in their villages. In order to maintain their administrative position, gain promotion, and prevent victimization. The electoral promises of the CPDM. They promised jobs to the unemployed, construction of roads, bridges, hospitals, etc. The achievement of the CPDM government. The creation of many schools and colleges, 7 state universities, the liberalization of higher education, creation of many health centers and hospitals, etc. increased their popularity. The formation of many political parties and the lack of a common front against the CPDM. More than 150 political parties were created in the 1990s. Most of the parties formed an alliance with the CPDM which strengthened them. Spilled within the other political parties. Ideological and leadership conflicts within the major opposition parties such as in the UPC. UNDP and SDF led to the prolonging CPDM dominance. Consequences of multi-party politics in Cameroon. Positive. It influenced President Biya to adopt good governance in many aspects of life. The National Program of Governance was approved in June 2000, etc. The proliferation of many NGOs. Pressure groups, political parties, and trade union. It increases the level of political awareness. The release of many political detainees in prison camps. Improvement in the organization of elections. Led to the creation of a national election observatory which improved on the organization and conduct of elections in Cameroon. Improvement in the legislative powers of the national parliament. It led to improvement in local government. The municipal council became better managed and led to the fall of much overzealous municipal administration. It led to constitutional reforms. It led to the liberalization of the mass media. It led to the publication of many textbooks on Cameroon. It led to the development of rural areas. It enabled Cameroon to improve on its human rights records, and that enabled Cameroon to gain admission into Commonwealth in November 2005. It attracted more foreign aid and foreign investment. Negative effects. It led to political violence. It provoked a confrontation between the ruling CPDM and the hardline. It promoted ethnicity. Most parties were formed strictly on ethnic lines, and that encouraged conflicts and insults between indigenes conflict. It led to the extravagance of state resources to help the ruling party consolidate power. It led to discrimination of non-CPDM militants in the civil service. It led to electoral malpractices. It ruined many politicians economically.